After a night of protest, there's a call for calm after a deadly police shooting in Charlotte.
They need to be very transparent and know that they need to be able to inform us of exactly what's going on.
But there's also a call for answers. Tonight, CBS North Carolina has team coverage. We begin tonight with the police shootings and protests in Charlotte. Good evening. I'm Sean Maroney.
And I'm Sharon Tazwell. It all started last evening when police say 43-year-old Keith Lamont Scott was shot by a police officer. The shooting happened on the city's northeast side when police were looking for a different suspect. They say Scott exited a vehicle with a handgun. Officers say even though he was told to drop the weapon, he didn't, which led to the shooting.
It kicked off a night of protests, people angry over the shooting, but at one point, Interstate 85 had to be shut down. The family says Scott didn't have a gun, but a book. Police say a gun, though, was recovered. We have team coverage tonight. Our Derek Lewis is in Durham talking to the NAACP's lawyer about what sparked the protests, and our David Hurst is in Charlotte with the latest on the investigation. That's where we begin tonight. David?
Yeah, Sean, we're here in downtown Charlotte where we're hearing a silent protest. It's about to get underway. All this while the city braces for what could be another long night of protests. The city of Charlotte is bracing for more protests after a night of violence that included tear gas, damaged patrol cars, and 16 injured police officers.
We are calling for peace. We are calling for calm. We're calling for dialogue.
The protests stem from the killing of Keith Scott. Police say Officer Brentley Vinson shot and killed Scott during a search for a suspect wanted for an outstanding warrant. Police say Scott had a gun and refused when police ordered him to drop it.
The officers gave loud, clear, verbal commands, which were also heard by many of the witnesses.
But Scott's family is telling a different story, saying he was unarmed and holding a book. It's led community activists to call on police to be open with the investigation.
They need to be very transparent and know that they need to be able to inform us of exactly what's going on. It's still an investigation. It's not going to be good enough.
The two narratives police say is causing confusion and division within the community.
It's time to change the narrative, because I can tell you from the facts that the story is a little bit different as to how it's been portrayed so far, especially through social media.
And as for any potential protests tonight, police say they're hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst.
My plans are to have our people ready. We are. My plans are to be staffed appropriately. We will be. And hopefully we'll have peaceful protests and we'll do things the Charlotte way.
And back here in uptown Charlotte, many businesses have left their employees go home early for the day in anticipation of any protests this evening. Reporting live tonight in Charlotte, David Hurst, CBS, North Carolina.
David, thank you. And also today, there's a call for an economic boycott of Charlotte. The Nation of Islam is calling for an independent investigation of the shooting.
But what we're standing up for now is our black manhood and our black people who are being gunned down in the street, and we don't get no justice. So what I'm calling for and what we're calling for is an economic boycott of the whole city of Charlotte. Since black lives do not matter for this city, then our black dollar shouldn't matter.
Murphy went on to say that the police shooting in Charlotte and around the country is a form of modern-day lynching.
The ACLU of North Carolina is calling on the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department to release any body or dash camera footage that would have captured the shooting.
As we've seen with other incidents across the country, video footage of police shootings can really help shed light on what actually happened, especially in these incidents where you have a conflict between what police are saying and what community members are saying. So we believe it's in the public interest.
The ACLU also says the clock is ticking as there is a new North Carolina law that takes effect October 1st. That law would require a court order for a law enforcement agency to release a copy of the footage.
And following the protests overnight, we wanted to know what causes the outbursts. CBS North Carolina's Derek Lewis spoke to one professor who teaches at North Carolina Central. And Derek, what were his thoughts?
Irving Joyner points out that when it comes to confronting race issues, Durham and Charlotte are not the same. And while he believes there would be outrage here, he says the outcome would be different. North Carolina Central University law professor and NAACP lawyer Irving Joyner watched the events in Charlotte unfold overnight.
Now with these police killings occurring all over the country and the frequency with which they are occurring, I was not surprised.
He explains why protests turned violent as protesters blocked traffic along I-85 and started fires in the city.
Emotions are raw. People are upset as they look at these things occurring around the country, and nothing is happening to resolve them.
Irving says these images in Charlotte show there was no one to control the situation and feels things would play out differently in Durham.
Durham has been very active, and there are a lot of leadership in Durham dealing with and confronting the issues in Durham. And in that sense, Durham is significantly different than in Charlotte.
While the communities may differ, he says that one common goal between all cities across the country is building trust between the community and police.
The feeling in the community that the police is actually there to protect and serve them, and that is not the feeling that African Americans have in communities today.
Now, in response to the shooting in Charlotte yesterday, students will gather here on campus tonight at 10 o'clock in this area for a rally they've named a call for an end to the war on Black America. Live in Durham, I'm Derek Lewis, CBS North Carolina.